How's it going, YouTube? Diabolic Hollow here, and welcome back to the HHA channel. Now, you might have noticed this is going to be a little bit different of what you're normally used to on this channel, because normally we just throw up the podcast, right? But no, we got a new series for you coming in. It's called the HHA Extra Credit Sidebar. Sidebar is probably not going to be the actual title, but extra credit is going to be. I am joined here by my most esteemed guest. Go ahead, say hi.
What up? It's your boy, Mac Tier, back again, invading the space.
Yes, sir. And now we are together in our own series on the HHA.
Ooh.
So that's pretty cool. If you want to know what extra credit is, I'll explain it to you. So what this little side series is going to be about, is going to be mainly like topics and shows and movies and stuff like that still catches our interest, but doesn't quite make the actual podcast. But we still have thoughts and feelings that we do want to talk about, separate from, you know, our own extra channels or just the HHA channel in general. Yeah, you know, some nerdy shit that, you know, sometimes Ghoul doesn't gel
really
with.
Yeah, like just like the namesake says, extra credit. This shit's gonna put you on the next level of geek and nerd shit. We go out of our way
Yes, sir.
to make sure you can get a step above the other intellectuals on your block.
Yeah. Quick run through of what you'll expect from this side series. You know, some, you know, DC, Marvel movies,
Yeah.
shows, nerdy movies and shows, animated stuff maybe. We might have extra guests on here. Who knows? It just depends. This is the first episode. This is our pilot episode. But for today, we're going to be talking about the premiere of the Marvel show on Disney Plus, WandaVision.
I gotta say, man.
The first...
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I was just going to say the first two episodes dropped last Friday. It is currently the 18th, Monday. So that was like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that was really interesting how they dropped 2 episodes on the premiere instead of just the normal one pilot that we're used to getting.
Yeah, I did think that was a little strange. And before we get too deep into it, I'm not gonna lie, I really wasn't too, like, I had heard of it, like the whole WandaVision thing, but it really didn't pique my interest for some reason. But
yeah, it didn't really like, it wasn't really like piquing my radar. I was like, ooh, I can't wait for WandaVision, you know? It was just kind of like, oh, hey, we're getting like this this extra Disney Plus show that is probably going to lead into the next Doctor Strange movie. So you know what? I'll check it out anyways because I have Disney Plus, so might as well.
yeah, right. So,
yeah, let's just go ahead, jump right into it.
Okay.
On, do you want to talk about both episodes together since they premiered, or do you want to talk about them
I think
separately?
that would be ideal, just since they're both already, you know, available. Yeah. So just like initial thoughts of me watching it, I did. So for those of you who don't know, basically the synopsis, there wasn't really too much information given out about it, other than, so it's featuring Wanda Maximoff and Vision, which, as you, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Infinity War and Endgame, Vision got Thanos permanently.
Well, yeah, because he ripped the stone out of his head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So his death, because there were people that were killed from the Thanos finger snap, but they were revived in Endgame after some time travel shit.
Oh, we should probably preface this right now in the beginning of the episode saying these all of these shows are going to have heavy spoilers for what we cover.
Yes.
So if you're not about being spoiled on the shows, please click away now. We're going to get pretty deep into spoiler territory, talking, you know, just everything about the show and the connections it has. So if you haven't watched really any of the Marvel movies or just the show and you don't want to be spoiled, please just click off the video for now. Put us in your like save for later, and watch this video later when you finish, you know.
Yeah, and they are really
but
good.
go ahead.
We probably should have said that, or I probably should have said that.
Yeah, we probably should have led the episode with.
We can
this
just
is
put
gonna be a spoiler
in the title. This
fuck it.
But anyway, I mean, so I will say the one thing that kind of boggled me about the whole idea of the show coming up was like, wait, Vision's dead. So
Right.
You know, and it still hasn't really been explained, which, you know, it's kind of going towards the premise of the show, but it's like a throwback to old
like sitcoms.
Yeah, like old 50s and 60s sitcoms like Leave It to Beaver and, you know, such shows as that. I didn't really, I mean, obviously I was born in 95, so I didn't watch any of that shit when
I was
gonna
say, yeah, a lot of the sitcom stuff and a lot of the sitcom references, I'm not gonna lie, flew a little bit over my head just because you said you were born in 95, I was born in 99. So
goddamn. Yeah, I did.
I didn't really grow up around a lot of sitcoms at all.
I did. I'll say I watched a lot of like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Saved by the Bell.
Okay, yeah,
Roseanne.
those, yeah.
So I mean, there's in
Lucy.
Yeah, and I mean the parallels of sitcoms or aspects.
They're
of
there. They're
Yeah,
there. Yeah, for sure.
So, but I mean, pretty much the premise is like it's like literally a sitcom called WandaVision, starring Wanda and Vision. But as the show progresses, because it is set in the MCU, and obviously these are Marvel characters, there are little nuances that occur throughout each episode that kind of, I don't even know how to explain it, but
it's like the real world bleeding into the show.
Yeah, and
almost.
Yeah, so one I mean, so I did respect the actual throwback to like old sitcoms, like in the they have the laugh tracks and everything going on.
Oh yeah, that was kind of cool.
And what's funny is some of the, I mean, obviously it's like cheesy sitcom humor, but some of it actually hits. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I was finding myself chuckling a little bit at their cheesy little jokes and shit. Another thing that I really thought was interesting was the cinematography, the camera work. So when you're watching it, I have a 4K HD TV, so you know I'm used to movies and TV shows filling up the whole screen, but throughout most of the episodes, they actually keep to that like boxed kind of presentation.
Yeah, it was almost like correct me if I'm wrong, but it almost seemed like they used cameras that they used back in the day to film those sitcoms.
I wouldn't
and I
be
think
surprised.
that was done on purpose.
Yeah, and there are little like scenes. So we'll go. I mean, like there was one scene where Wanda. So the first episode is basically Wanda and Vision freaking out because they're supposed to be having a dinner date with Vision's boss at his company. And there's this one scene, which in itself I thought was pretty hilarious, just because they were like, "What's today? I don't know. There's a little heart on it. Huh? I guess it's our anniversary." Come to find out, his boss's name was Mr. Hart or some shit like that. And not a classic like sitcom situation. Like they're on two completely different pages trying to figure out, you know, how to get the evening sorted out. And anyway, once the actual dinner party comes up, I wasn't paying too much attention to the actual picture filling up the screen, but I mean, you can definitely tell because there's this moment when the boss starts to like choke on food or something, and the tone, which
it shifts.
It really shifts. Which I thought,
and you can even tell when the boss started choking that did he really choke on food or was it Wanda?
Yeah, I don't know. There was a lot going on in that scene for me because just like you said, it shifts completely. It goes from this lighthearted kind of like, 50s themed sitcom to just unsettling. And and I thought the same thing. I didn't know if maybe Wanda was the one causing the boss to start choking on his food. But the other thing that was really weird was the Mrs. Hart, I guess, the boss's wife, just keeps repeating the same line over and over and over again, because I think he starts choking and she's like, "Stop." And she doesn't like start, like she doesn't get louder, she doesn't get quieter. She's like, "Just stop, just stop, just stop," while Mans is like dying.
And then like Wanda and Vision are just kind of like staring at him like, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
And then Wanda finally was just like, it was weird too, the way that she said like for Vision to go help him. It wasn't like in that like weird sitcom-y voice that she was doing. It was like actually her.
Yeah, it was almost like she was breaking out of her own character. Not from like the character playing Wanda was breaking out of her character, but
Yeah, the
Wanda.
character in the sitcom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Wanda herself was breaking from the sitcom Wanda to kind of deal with that situation. So that was the first kind of little nuanced thing that I noticed watching the show that seemed to like you said, like the real world was kind of almost bleeding in.
Right.
The rest of the show was, I mean, I don't want to say uneventful, but I mean it just kind of after that I think carried on to the, you know, continued the rest of the like satirical sitcom kind of thing.
Right.
And then the second episode was, I believe, oh, and another thing I wanted to mention, I do like the ad placements they have in there. Like the first one, I think
those are really cool.
Yeah, like the first one was the little Stark Industries toaster. Yeah. And then during the second episode, there was another ad placement, but I thought that one was a little more interesting because it was a watch and it was advertised. If you look closely, there's a logo on the watch and it says Hydra.
Yeah, so the watch company from that ad is Strucker, and if you remember from Age of Ultron, Strucker is the one who experimented on Wanda and Pietro.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot all about that. Yeah.
Yeah, there is, I will say, in true kind of Marvel Disney fashion as of late, there is a shit ton of Easter eggs in the first 2 episodes already.
Yeah. So some of them, I saw the little Hydra thing, but I completely forgot about the Strucker. I was trying to keep my eyes peeled.
It took me a second after I saw the Hydra symbol on his watch. I was like, wait a minute, why Hydra? And then I heard him say Strucker again, and I was like, oh, Strucker.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So, so I think the second episode kind of just like in regular sitcom fashion, it's just like another, you know, like funny scenario, I guess, that they're supposed to be put
almost
into.
kind of separate like story.
Yeah,
somewhat.
Yeah, because I think the second one is like now they're preparing to perform a magic show for like some fundraiser for a school. And it's basically just Vision is trying to get in with the neighborhood watch because they keep hearing like weird noises and stuff outside and they don't know what to do. I think in the first few minutes it's like a tree branch hitting the window, whatever, but the Vision, like, you know, like the classic 50s dad stereotype is, well, I'm gonna take care of it, I'm gonna get it done, I'm gonna go down and join the neighborhood watch. And meanwhile Wanda goes and tries to get in with like the neighborhood clique, and I can't remember her name, and the lady in charge of it.
I can't either.
Yeah, but you know, that one I think was a little more, provided a little bit more character development, I think, not for Wanda and Vision, but for the other support characters.
Kind of, yeah. It like opened up and kind of showed us who else is in this like weird alternate, like, I guess, dimension.
Yeah,
you would call it.
Yeah, and what's even weirder too is, so at the end of the first episode as well, I remember like you see the camera kind of pan out from the TV screen that like is showing the sitcom, and there's a guy just sitting at a desk kind of letting it run. So, you know, that in itself is a little weird. So it's obvious they're in some sort of, it's almost like they're in the TV in a way. I mean, of course, there's not really an explanation as to what's going on.
Yeah, we don't 100% know why or how Wanda and Vision, I guess. Or Wanda, I guess?
Yeah.
I mean, if Vision's technically dead, it's just Wanda then. So it's either she's created this pocket dimension, she was forced into it, she accidentally created it or something. We don't know.
Yeah, and see, that's what I think is interesting, because there's a lot of different ways we can look at it, because Vision is definitely dead. And also, throughout the show, he no longer has the, what is it, the Soul Stone, I think, that he originally had. It's no longer in his head like it usually was. It's just, and he kind of, like, you know, changes his skin from the robot, kind of his normal, I guess, appearance to, like, a more human one. But no matter what he does, that Soul Stone is gone. So
Right.
it's clear that this is either a manifestation of Vision in Wanda's mind, a manifestation of Vision in some sort of simulation built by someone else, or who knows, it could be something else entirely. But that was something I was thinking myself throughout the show was, is this of Wanda's doing? Could this be some sort of, she just can't deal with the trauma of losing, someone as close to her as Vision, and resorting to this, like I can't really think of a better word for it, like pocket dimension, like almost like building an artificial world, like the ideal life or the perfect life she would have wanted for her and Vision. Or is it
right? Because you got to think about it. In the Marvel timeline, technically, the last movies we've gotten in the Marvel timeline have been Endgame and then Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 is a little disconnected because it's its own thing, but it still connects. But if you think about the main continuity of Marvel, the last big event that happened was Endgame. So people are like recovering from like coming back from the Thanos snap, finding out people who've died from Thanos and stuff like that. So it's like I could see the direction of maybe this is Wanda created this to cope from her depression after losing Vision, because Vision was one of the only few people that couldn't come back from the snap.
Yeah, because he was actually killed.
He died before the snap.
Yeah. He and it wasn't. Yeah, exactly. And what's also interesting is, aside from Loki, because Loki might actually have a comeback since he was able to, one of his like past, like they were time traveling trying to find the Tesseract. And he
that whole show is supposed to be like a alternate timeline or something.
Yeah, exactly. But that is not the case for Vision. He is taking the big sleep.
He is gone, just like Black Widow.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, man. And then there was also that weird scene. So for the second episode, they end up, doing what they got to do. There was that one weird scene with Wanda and the like head lady of like the little clique, where something like someone was coming in on a radio that was playing. They were like beside a pool, and it's like there was something changing the frequency, and it said Wanda, 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 and then the lady like freaked out, and, like broke a glass and cut her hand, which was another one of those like weird, like what the fuck, kind of things going, like breaking the
because so if you haven't watched WandaVision and you're somehow still here even after all these spoilers, it's all in black and white for the first 2 episodes. Like an actual old 50s sitcom, it's completely black and white, and there's like Mac was saying earlier, there's these little nuances in both episodes where it seems like reality's bleeding through, and you see that through different objects or things like permeating color into the colorless that we see. Like we first see it almost looks like a toy helicopter.
Yep.
That's like all red that Wanda picks up in her lawn.
It's like it falls down from the sky inexplicably, and she's like, just picks it up. Yeah, and then it's like it's red, but everything else surrounding her is still black and white, which is really strange.
And then when that click lady gets cut, you actually see her blood bleed red.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. You do. Everything else is black and white, but her wound is bleeding, and it's just, it's red, which was another, which, obvious, like when Wanda's picking up the helicopter, she can, like, you can kind of tell off her face, like, this isn't right, this is weird. So I don't know if like she could actually see the color and recognize that this doesn't belong, but
no, I think she definitely can, because you could tell from the end of the episode of episode 2 when everything does become color and like almost like a 70s vibe, they actually like look at themselves like they look like they're gaining color. Like between Wanda and Vision, they can actually see the color. So I firmly believe that she saw the colors, because I think that's the whole point of them showing those colors when it's black and white.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about it like that, because I know the scene you're talking about when it's like everything like comes to life, so to speak, as far as color, and I knew they could kind of recognize that and be like, wow, we're so pretty. But it was just that one scene in particular, that one, and when she was bleeding, where it's like obviously we as the viewers can like see that cool little effect, but what that means to the characters, at least at that point in time, was kind of up in the air for me. There was also the other thing that kind of had questions about too was, so if you remember at the end, because throughout all the second episode, like whenever they're trying to go to sleep, Wanda and Vision, I mean, they keep hearing like almost like explosions. It, to me, it kind of sounded like, and then like, so the first time they go out, it's like, oh, it's just a tree branch hitting the window, but they keep hearing it, and that's why Vision ends up joining the neighborhood watch. So the episode continues. They meet some new support characters and such. They do the magic show, and at the very end, when they're about to be, they start hearing the explosions again, and Vision is like, oh, I'm dadgummit, I'm gonna go and find out what that is. And they run outside, and a man emerges from the sewers in like a beekeeping uniform, of all things.
Yeah. Like swarming with bees around him too, which I thought was really cool.
It was really, really ominous and off-putting. Yeah. Like I wouldn't say disturbing, but unsettling of a tone as well, which I think they did so well by like shifting from that like sitcom style to like, oh shit, what the fuck is going on? But what was interesting to me too was as soon as Wanda saw that, because Vision was standing there trying to piece it all together, Wanda almost seemed like she was a couple steps ahead of the curb, and she even says like, oh no, like, or something like that, like, no, not this, or some shit like that.
Yeah, she said no, yeah.
And then I don't know if it was her doing or if it could have been like someone monitoring her in the simulation, but you see like almost as if you rewind a VHS tape, like the black and white you see on the screen when you're rewinding the tape. It starts to rewind, and it goes a couple minutes earlier in the scene where they just found out that she's pregnant, and then rather than them going outside again, they just stay inside, and that's when the color starts to permeate. So that, to me too, I wasn't able to tell if this is Wanda's simulation, if she's manipulating this little universe that she's created, or if it could be someone on the outside, because it seems like there is someone trying to enter, or at least a group of people trying to enter this reality, trying to establish contact with Wanda. Almost, could it be someone in the Avengers? Could it be...
So, actually, connecting to that, I did want to point out, I'm not sure if you noticed, but... So, the little toy helicopter she picks up that's red has a symbol on it, and it's a symbol of a sword. So, that's actually a organization in Marvel. I think it's called, it's kind of like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but it's like Agents of S.W.O.R.D. or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So, you see the symbol as well at the end of episode 1, where you see it zoom out to the dude monitoring the show. You see it in the lower left monitor. You see that symbol again of the sword. And you also see the sword symbol again on the beekeeper when he emerges from the sewer.
Interesting. So... If so in a sort of the good guys, because I know like S.H.I.E.L.D. was,
I believe so.
Yeah, because S.H.I.E.L.D. was infiltrated by Hydra, so all that shit went defunct in like Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and now Hydra's back underground, or not Hydra, sorry. S.H.I.E.L.D. is back underground after recovering from all that.
So is Sword like the remnants of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Like
So S.H.I.E.L.D. deals with matters on Earth. I believe Agents of Swords or Sword or whatever the fuck the organization is called. I believe they deal with things that have to do with outer space.
Okay.
Or something along those lines, like extraterrestrial or something. I'm not 100% because this is actually only the second or third time I've heard of the organization. So I'm not 100% familiar in like the lore.
No, and I am just like you. I am as well. I mean, it's been a while since Endgame has come out. I did see Spider-Man: Far From Home, but like you said, that was kind of took its own direction. It focused more on Peter Parker coming back from the whole snap event. I pulled up a link on the Marvel Cinematic Universe wiki. And you were pretty much right to the T. It says it's so it stands for Sentient Weapon Observation and Response Division, and it says it's an American intelligence agency. And in the comics, it's a subdivision of S.H.I.E.L.D. that deals with extraterrestrial threats to world security. So with that being said, yeah, so like it being in space, you were pretty much on the nose with that, and I didn't even know that. So now that even begs the question: could they not even be on Earth?
I still think they're on Earth. I think maybe the what you said, what is it, the sentient weapon thing is probably the more focus that they're trying to figure out with Wanda, because technically, you know, she is a weapon.
True. Yeah, it's a lot of brain teasers, man. I gotta say, just from even just without digging into all the like little theories and of what's going on.
I mean, if you want to talk theories, we can talk theories, and you know.
I'm completely fucking flabbergasted, to be honest. After watching it, I don't know what to think. I mean, this is one of those shows. And I'm not gonna lie, because like I said at the beginning of the podcast, this was kind of off my radar. Like I knew it was coming out, but I was like, I don't really care. But after watching it, man, like I'm hooked. I legit cannot wait until this Friday to watch another episode just to get another piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
But
I don't know if I would say I'm like 100% hooked. There's still that feeling of like, I don't know if it's disconnection or if it's just like, I don't know, but the first 2 episodes, it wasn't like amazing to me in my opinion. It wasn't like, oh my god, this show is gonna be crazy, like Mando crazy. Like, every episode of Mandalorian like is just amazing. It's good.
Yeah.
This show, I mean, well. I feel like with the sitcom tones, because it's the 50s and 60s or 40s or whatever the time period they're supposed to represent, maybe I'm a little disconnected because I didn't grow up a lot around that kind of era of shows. So I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to the rest of the show and to see how this kind of connects, because it feels like, and I think they did this on purpose, they drop you into the show with no context of to when this is, to where we are, besides it being a town called Westview, which also starts with WV, like WandaVision. It's just like there's no context of where, when, how we got here, and they don't really talk about it. So I don't know. Maybe it's just because of that confusion. I'm a little like feeling weird about the show right now. But I'm sure as we build into the more of the actual story and the whole like Agents of Sword. I don't know. I can't speak.
I think I'm used to kind of saying Shield as well. So like saying Agents of Sword, like it doesn't sound right. But no, I mean, with me, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, if you're actually trying to, like, if you're just watching this strictly for MCU, like, and where everything's going, most of it is just sitcom dumb shit. And I don't mean that as any, like, attack on the show. I personally don't mind that kind of stuff, and I think, since I kind of went into it with, like, an open mind, not really a lot of high expectations, just like, I've heard about this. Let's, I have Disney Plus. Fuck it. Let's see what's gonna happen. But really, it wasn't out of the entire 2 episodes of the show, there were really only a few moments scattered throughout that, like, really, like, I was starting to lean forward on my couch, like, what the fuck is going on, kind of thing. Other than that, it was almost like just like any other sitcom, almost, just like a bunch of, and
it was okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And as far as, because obviously, I feel like it's kind of a throwback to that kind of stuff and almost like an homage to those old shows, which, and I think they execute it perfectly, but obviously, most people I don't think are going to be watching it for the sitcom aspect. I think most viewers are going to try and be going for the, what's happening now. What, WandaVision, how is Vision still alive? What is, this whole little world that they've created? What is going on? So, I will say, just so that you can manage your expectations, don't expect a bunch of shit coming out of left field all the time. You really do have to be paying attention, to what's going on to try and catch some of these Easter eggs. I'm sure there's still some that I missed, like the whole trucker thing. I completely flew over my head. All I saw was the little Hydra symbol, or Strucker.
Right.
Sorry, I don't know why I said Trucker.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of Easter eggs that I missed myself too.
Yeah. So,
I don't know. I'm interested to see where the show goes from here. Because at the end of episode 2, it seemed like not only did we get full color now, but it seemed like it's heading towards more of like a 70s vibe sitcom.
yeah,
Which I do have experience with, because that 70s show is one of my favorite shows of all time. Because that show is fucking hilarious.
That is a funny ass show.
Which is cool because also the mom of Eric on that show is in WandaVision as Mr. Hart's wife.
Was that who she was? I thought she was familiar. Yeah. I was looking at
that's her.
Like, that's so funny. That makes a lot of sense though. That's
so
funny.
I'm interested to see if they'll keep her for this next episode and maybe make a little like joke or tie-in to that 70s show. That would be really sweet for me, and I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. That would be really cool. That's so funny because that was bugging me too. I was like, I feel like I've seen this lady somewhere. and that's where it was. It was from that 70s show.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, other than that, I mean, I do think the acting was superb. I can't really think of a time where I thought someone was like forcing a role or was just too, boring or anything like that. And I do think I'm a little bit more excited just because I like the mystery aspect. Like I like shows like that where it's like, ooh, what the, I'm such a sucker for that kind of stuff. like you don't know what's going on, and it's like you just start coming up with all these like theories in your head, like, oh my god, what could it be? And
right.
And what I like about this is instead of just throwing everything at you at once, it does kind of like tease you a little bit, just drop some little thing, like some little distortions along the show, but it does seem like it's starting to, especially at the end of episode 2, it starts to get a little bit more confrontational with this entity or this, perhaps agent of S.W.O.R.D. that's trying to establish contact with Wanda, or who knows what their motivations are, and that's
we don't know. That's another thing. We don't know a lot of things because they don't really tell us a lot of things or show us.
Yeah. It's almost as if you're literally just someone in the audience, like at the watching the sitcom live in a way.
Almost, yeah.
Maybe not exactly, but just, it's like that's all you're allowed to see kind of thing. Like, because there's a lot of stuff going on. I do think Wanda knows more than Vision.
That she's letting on.
Yeah, that she's letting on. And I think if Vision somehow is still alive, which I don't think he is, but at least in this reality, he's just kind of along for the ride. But Wanda, I think, is in a lot more control than what she thinks. And another thing too is it seems like, because another reason why I think Wanda may not be in complete control is because she is interacting with these other neighbors, and they seem to kind of act independently from her. So, and that could just be part of her little reality that she set up to kind of make it more real. But especially with the like in that scene where she's talking with the lady that's in charge of the fundraiser, and there's that weird radio interference. She even asks Wanda, like after hearing Wanda's name coming into the radio, she's like, "Who are you?" Like almost like she was scared of her. So if this is not just a pocket dimension, or like a reality that Wanda created, could she have some way just found her way to this weird world and is now having to adapt to them? Or you know what I mean? It's just it just boggles my mind. And of course this is all speculation, but it's it's just kind of little things that I picked up on that I thought were interesting. But yeah, I mean, I could go on for a while about that kind of stuff. But
I was gonna say, for final notes, give our kind of little small thoughts and feelings on the first 2 episodes. Personally, they're okay so far. I mean, the show's okay. Yeah. We just gotta wait to see more, which is fine by me. I know a lot of people complain about shows being drip fed to us an episode a week, but I feel like that's fine because that's how we've normally gotten shows before streaming services were a thing. Yeah. So I'm already kind of used to that, and I feel like it's a little bit better to get it once a week instead of, having a whole season being just kind of, here you go.
Just available,
and then you binge Yeah, and then you binge watch it in like a couple days or a week, and then that's it. And then you gotta wait another like a year or two for season 2 or something, and then you're just kind of stuck. You're just
sitting there with your thumb up your ass, just like, yeah.
So honestly, I don't mind the week-to-week thing. Maybe just because I'm someone who's used to it so much between like watching anime and other shows. So I don't know. I'm excited to see what's to come of this, and I'm really excited to see how this ties into Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, because from what we are learning about that movie and the third Spider-Man movie, those are going to be the craziest movies that are going to come out soon. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm hyped.
Yeah, I am as well. And just to kind of go off of what you were talking about with the like releasing of each episodes as well.
Mm-hmm.
I do personally like and it may just be because like you, I was used to that growing up, like waiting for a Friday or a Thursday or whatever for a new episode of whatever show to come out instead of having it just readily available to you all at once. And another thing too is with the streaming service, because back before the day of streaming services, if anyone can remember that, they would have to fill each episode for like a 30-minute time block, and minus like ad space for the show. But
and we're not getting any ads.
Yeah, there's no ads. And something I noticed from The Mandalorian too is even though each episode comes out, and I just say The Mandalorian because that's the only other Disney Plus show that kind of has been like releasing stuff new on the
that's we'll just say popular because Clone Wars would beg to differ, but I'm not gonna get into that.
Yeah, that's fair. Like just something I haven't really seen it too much with WandaVision, because I mean right now there's only 2 episodes, and I think the first one was about 25 minutes and the second one was closer to like a half hour. But there's a lot more freedom with them. Because, like, with The Mandalorian, there would be, like, some episodes that were 20 minutes, some that were 30, some that were 45 minutes. Yeah,
that was weird.
And
I didn't like that.
I can see the criticism towards it, but to me, when I saw that, I was like, okay, instead of forcing each episode to be, like, a certain time period, they're giving the writers and the producers more freedom to kind of let each episode be its own story, rather than just format it to a 30-minute time block.
Fair.
So
that's fair.
That's at least kind of my take on it. And so far, even though, like you got to wait every week for another episode, I do feel like it's just at the state of where Disney Plus is now. And with the shows that are releasing, it does seem like they're taking a lot more care and extra thought into each episode instead of just making sure there's another episode to watch every week. And that could kind of attest to me getting in they're completely different genres, but one thing I always hated, like I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid, and there was nothing worse to me than I remember the whole Frieza fight. Just as an example. Yeah, waiting every week.
20 goddamn episodes.
Yeah, and it's like I was waiting every week for basically Goku just to yell some side characters to like say some stuff, and then that was it. So, again, I know they're completely different genres, but just kind of, and obviously like almost 15, 20 years apart in terms of production and release, but I do feel like John I can never say his name right.
Favreau.
Yeah, Favreau, the Messiah, and other people at Disney, taking care of the Marvel and the Star Wars shows are being given a lot of freedom and a lot of creativity, like creative space to kind of do what they want as far as releasing these shows. And that is something I appreciate. That's kind of, I think, another reason why I've been getting so hooked on these Disney Plus shows recently is because they do seem to kind of be stepping it up as far as like setting up a new standard for television and shows.
I agree.
So,
any last remarking feelings or thoughts before we go about WandaVision, Mark?
I think we kind of hit everything. Yeah. I mean, I love the acting. I love the pacing, even though I don't think a lot of people are gonna get into it right off the bat.
Yeah, I think once the show builds up a few more episodes and kind of starts explaining where we are and shit like that, I feel like we'll start getting more attraction and more like attention to the show itself.
Yeah.
But as it is right now, it's a little under the radar.
Yeah, because a lot of what is getting me excited is just the speculation, of just kind of figuring it out. But we'll see. Also, hopefully they don't go some cheap route and it's like some. Like Wanda plugged up into a computer and then someone just unplugs her and they're like, all right, let's go kick some ass. And like, it's just some shit like that, so, but
yeah, let's hope they not pull some actual Disney bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're saying.
Exactly. So, but no, I think that's all for me. What about you, Hollow?
I'm pretty good too. I mean, I'm excited to see what else is to come for WandaVision. I'm excited to see what other Disney Plus shows are coming as well. We got all the other Marvel ones coming. We have Book of Boba Fett, and be sure we will be covering all these kind of shows on the extra credit series.
Yeah,
so
Star Wars is a given.
We're gonna try to keep these shorter than the podcast. Just to make it little tidbits that you can watch in between. And I'm going to try to release these between episodes of podcasts so you guys have stuff to tide you guys over, because I know sometimes we take a little bit long to edit. But
in Hollow's defense,
no, that's
I talk
it, man.
A lot.
Right. No, yeah, I talk too. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes. WandaVision, we got a new episode coming this Friday. You can watch it if you have Disney Plus right now. The first 2 episodes are live. I believe new episodes are every Friday.
Yep.
So yeah, check out WandaVision if you haven't already. And if you've already watched the rest of the MCU, I just recommend it because I feel like it's just going to be a continuation of more MCU stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for stopping by the extra credit series. We have more to come, so be sure to hit that subscribe button to the HHA. So not only do you watch this show, but go to our main podcast and check us out there, because we get into some bigger topics. We go off about them, and we have some pretty crazy opinions about certain topics. So yeah, definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like the video too, because that tells us we're doing something right, that you guys actually like this content. And yeah, that is pretty much it.
If you have any thoughts or comments or anything, feel free to throw them down there. We'll read them.
Yeah, I'll be active in the comments on the channel page. So one of us, Ghoul or I or Frosty, whoever has access to the actual channel.
Whoever's at the computer that day. Well,
pretty much. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to the first installment of the HHA Extra Credit. I've been Diabolicalo.
I'm Mac Tier.
And we appreciate you guys for stopping by, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.